Hello everyone, this is Dreaming Sheep bringing you a Minecraft video tutorial for a maintenance-free power supply in the Agrarian Skies Feed the Beast mod pack. Quite simply what it is a igneous extruder which outputs some cobble to its bottom side into a X-Nilo crucible. This crucible converts your cobble into lava. It is then extracted by a fluid duct into a magmatic dynamo, which will then produce energy out of that, and you can obviously store that wherever you wish. Very simple to put together. You could change this so that you have multiple crucibles and multiple dynamos, and you can expand it quite exponentially. I'll show you a couple of things in a minute. In terms of the amount of power it produces, it's a bit hard to measure correctly because it's not always consistently on or constantly on. You see it does fluctuate quite a bit, and you can get anything between about 30 odd RF to 70 that I've seen. I think it was between 35 and 70. So if you average that out, you kind of get an idea of how much this produces. To see it visually, it is quite a decent amount. It's not a huge amount. It will power a pulverizer completely on its own and still have a bit of surplus, but not much more than that. It's not my first design. I put this one together just so you could see the basics of it. The first one I put together was this. I kind of like the idea of this one. It reminds me a bit of a car engine. You've got a gearbox and the engine behind it. And I was trying to see how much I could get into a hardened energy conduit. So I came out with a 320 RF per tick design. This will always output 320 once it's up and going. It will never dip below that, which is quite nice, and you never have to do anything with the system. You can build it and forget about it. While recording this the very first time, I did realize you could upscale this to a 400 RF per tick system very easily. I'll build one down there for you so you can see how. And how it works is pretty similar to what we have down there. It's still an igneous extruder outputting to its east and, well, not east, the left and right hand side into some ISM ducts. These ISM ducts are set to round robin, so what you'll find is when it starts up, it'll put one block in the first crucible, one into the next, and then the next. So all three are producing lava as soon as possible, instead of filling up one and only having one producing lava, then trying to fill up the next and then the next. If you're wondering why I have this on burnt netherrack or lit netherrack, apparently that is the best fuel source for it, or heat source for your crucibles. I can show you that quickly over here. So I have 4 cells I've set up, each with a different heat source, and each one has its own igneous extruder, crucible, fluid duct and tanks. They're all completely independent. The wiring in the middle is just to send this redstone signal to switch it all on. As soon as it switches off, it'll stop pumping lava out or stop producing cobble, and we can see the results. So what this back here is, it's just a 5-stack item hopper clock. So as soon as I flick this, you'll see we have a redstone signal, everything starts going, and after just over 2 minutes this should pop back and everything will switch off. Oh, sorry, it will stay out. That will fill up, it'll switch off the comparator, switches off that redstone torch, and yeah, so on. While that's running, I will quickly show you how to build this. So this is the 400 RF per tick setup. So if we start with a energy cell, wherever you want to place it, then add some hardened energy cell conduits behind that. If you do a little plus shape, it's probably the best way to describe this, and then on each of the arms put another conduit. Off the side of your conduit you will want to put a magmatic dynamo on each of these, and then some fluid ducts. So 5 fluid ducts, first one in the middle, 1 behind and below, and then 2 behind that. Behind your first dynamo, place your igneous extruder, and again this just needs to output to the sides, nowhere else. Fill that up with some water and lava, get your item ducts and place 3 on each side. I'm using impulse ducts. You don't have to. Obviously that just means that the items will get to the crucibles quicker. So it's up to you. Set these to extract and round robin mode. So round robin is done by just right clicking 3 times. Grab your crucible. I don't need that anymore. Put that underneath the item ducts or next to the fluid ducts, whichever is easiest for you. And then below that, 2 blocks below, place your netherrack. Set your netherrack on fire. The fun part, obviously, keeping this well away from anything flammable, otherwise you might have some far bigger problems. You'll need to put a pneumatic servo on the bottom of each, or into each of these fluid ducts. I'm just going to remove that and then set those to extract. And obviously disable the redstone control. You could set it to one of the others and give it a redstone signal. It's completely up to you if you want to or not. There is no need, because once the system has fully powered up this energy cell, it'll just stop. Won't produce any excess items, and then once the power goes down, it'll kick in straight away again. So it's pretty self-controlled, and you'll never again have to touch this again. So if I just quickly give a meter reading on that, 372, so you can see there's still an engine that's trying to get its lava supply going, so it's permanent. You can see this one's going quite well already. These will fill up completely in good time. Come on, buddy. You can see how quickly, obviously this has just been built, you can see how quickly we're getting that power, and it is a pretty decent amount of power if I do say so to myself. Okay, let's just get rid of all of this. Whoops. Back to our test results, and you can see this has stopped. Everything else has stopped producing as well, and what you'll find is heat is the best result. You can see with 752 millibuckets. It's the highest I've ever seen it. Lowest was 750, so it's only a small variation. Lava is about 500, there we go, and your torch 250. I tried a redstone torch in the corner there because I had a spare cell, just with the OCD of having everything the same, and apparently it does absolutely nothing, so yeah, don't waste your time. So what does this mean for this build over here? Basically, if you're going to use lava, for every 2 crucibles you have over there, you need 3 crucibles on top of lava. So you could still do the design. I made this little monstrosity. It doesn't need to be at different heights or anything either. That was just me playing around. I didn't like the way that the item ducts do this, and you get this big cross hatch when they're all level. So in the interest of having something different, that's what I did. And this will output 320 RF permanently as well. It does have 10 crucibles on there, only needs 9. So again, if you want to knock these 2 off and put one in the middle or something, you can do that. I don't know why I didn't do that thinking about it, but there we go. The full application of this, what can you do with it? Well, this is going to kill my frame rate, so I do apologize, but you can do this. So all the I've completely forgotten the energy cells, the resident energy cells on the side, they're not necessary, obviously. I just find they fill up pretty quick, so having that spare just means that the system can keep running and you can see what it's doing. All we have here is a row of 9 crucibles, well 18 I guess, 2 by 9, each with their own igneous extruders, and then obviously that pipes the lava out to all of the engines. I did test this with 1 igneous extruder on each set of 18 crucibles. It doesn't work. It does not supply enough cobble for it to constantly run, and it will run dry, and then your engines will shut down and you'll start to lose power. To get all your engines up and running, this was completely done using the crucibles and the igneous extruders, and obviously the lava and water that has to go in those. Nothing else was placed into the engines. They were just put down with a fluid duct behind them. This is now producing, you guessed it, 10,000 RF per tick. This is the maximum that any individual thermal expansion system can hold. Your energy conduits and energy cells cannot have a higher output or input than 10,000. So that's what I did. I do have about 10 extra dynamos on here. That was just the OCD-ness of it. So you could lose a strip down the end and a strip down that end, but I thought, you know, having two and then one, it would just look weird. It's bad enough having fluid ducts down there. So yeah, you can play around with it. You could always stack it up so it's a bit higher and more compact, but bear in mind that each cell is 4 high. So as soon as you stack up, you're going to produce probably a lot more space going vertically. If you're wondering how much or what items I needed to build it, it's roughly that. I might be between 4 and 8 off on the fluid ducts. I think I miscounted them a couple of times. But otherwise that's it, and you might need a second flint and steel just so you can light all your netherrack. And finally, if you're wondering what 10,000 RF per tick looks like, it's that. There's 500,000 and 1 million now, so it is pretty fast. I think for the sky block you're not going to need anywhere near this much power, but it's always fun to try. So there we have it. I hope this has been useful and informative to you. If you have any questions, please ask below, and take care.